Welcome to the closing beat, everybody. Happy Friday. How you doing out there? Hope you're having a good day out there. Hope you had a great week. It is Friday here. This is a quick show that we do called the closing beat. We go over the stock market, the good, the bad, and the ugly, some interesting stats and things along the way. Try to help you guys, keep your dough straight there. So we'll be sure to cover it. We're also playing a game. It's called Guess the Dow. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you can go to that website. No strings attached. You're welcome to take a shot. Where do you think the Dow is going to close? We let our clients participate. We let you participate. If you are the closest without going over it, like our winner today, we will send you a $100 gift card. Or if you're one of our customers, we'll credit your account. And good news today, one of our newer customers actually, all the way from Hawaii, Mr. Starling Reese was the winner today. His guess was 28820.26 on the Dow. He was officially the closest without going over. The email's already been sent out. We will be crediting your account $100. If you're a customer, you don't have to take the credit, by the way. You can if you like, but you can also take the gift card if you like. And Mr. Starling chose the credit to his account. So congratulations, Mr. Starling Reese. I love it, man. He's all the way in Hawaii, so I don't know what time it is over there, but hopefully he's watching. Congratulations there. Also, we do classes every week for our customers. Last night we did a class on the Secure Act, all the little nitty-gritty details about the Secure Act. If you're one of our customers, go on into the dojo. It is the most current video that is posted there. Of course, you can search if you'd like, but next week's class will be on the backdoor Roth IRA. Get a lot of questions on that, and we're going to cover exactly how that process works here, so you know exactly not only how does it work, but how will we get it done for you if you find that your income is maybe a little too high, or you're projecting your income to be too high, or maybe it's just way too high to contribute to a Roth IRA directly. All right, let's take a look at the stock market. Not a lot to cover today, but we'll go through it here. Maybe a shorter class today. You got the Dow lower by 133, 9 on the S&P, and 24 on the NASDAQ 100. Yeah, the payroll numbers come out today, a little shy of the expectations. 145 versus 160 was expectations, so a little bit light there. And the unemployment rate did remain unchanged, stayed at 3.5% there. So let's take a look. We got the S&P 500. Let's see, will it do it? What do we got to do here? That maybe isn't going to load there. We got the S&P 500 a little bit lower on the day. The Dow, here's what happened with the Dow. Actually, so the Dow crossed 29,000 today, if you were paying attention, and that's not, it's a 1,000 threshold. A lot of people talk about the Dow crossing different thresholds there, and crossing above 29,000, and so it's like a reason to kind of say, hey, we hit another milestone there, and then CNBC sort of jinxed it, they'll take the blame for that. But they were right with a lot of things they were talking about today, everything that I saw. The Dow crossed the next 1,000-point threshold there. It's been less than 2 months since we went from 28,000 to 29,000. That's actually quite quick there. This is the 10th time that we have crossed a 1,000-point threshold in the Dow since President Trump took office. So you imagine there's going to be a tweet about that. I'm sure he's get the same stats that I do here. We were at 19,000 when he took over. We're now at 29,000. So that's that one there. And it took 56 days to go from 28,000 to 29,000. We look back just to see what's the fastest amount of time that it's ever gone from a 1,000 mark to the next 1,000 mark. And the actual fastest time was January 2018. Took 13 days to go 1,000 points. Pretty interesting there. Another thing you might notice is, okay, so let's say we cross a 1,000-point threshold. How many times do we cross back and forth above and below it before just going on to the next 1,000 there? Since we had the data this way, prior to President Trump taking the White House, it was 32 times, 32.2 to be exact. So you would cross a 1,000-point threshold, go back below, go above it, go back below, go above it, and so on and so on. An average of 32 times. There were 18 different events prior to Mr. Trump taking office there, since we've crossed 1,000-point thresholds. Since Mr. Trump took office and became the president, the average crossing of those 1,000-point thresholds is only 10. So I mean, not to assign credit to a president or anything, unless you feel like he deserves it. We don't really get into that here. But it lets you know how fast and how sort of one-directional this bull market rally has been since he took over. Very infrequent that we cross a 1,000-point threshold, then go back below it and hover around there for a while and then take off. So pretty interesting there. Now, as far as the Dow goes, unfortunately, and CNBC was right about this early this morning, they were talking about how this latest 1,000-point rally has really is all because of three different stocks, really. Goldman Sachs, United Healthcare, and Apple, right? So 650 of the 1,000 points that were that we've just achieved there came from those three names. Boeing is the biggest name in the Dow. It's a price-weighted index, so it's the biggest name in the Dow. If Boeing would have contributed, that would have been another 250 points in this rally, but Boeing, unfortunately, is going through some of the issues there. Well, you know what's going on with Boeing. Let me try one more time here just to see if this guy will work. I think it's frozen. I think the screen just froze up on me. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to fix that in the short term here. But let's cover some of the sectors here today. I'm going to share this chart with you guys on Monday as well, since it's not coming up here. But sector performance. The overall sectors in the stock market, 11 different sectors there. What we did is we compared them to the S&P 500 to see which sectors are outperforming the overall stock market. Communication services and tech is where all the excitement is. Now, communication services is really Facebook and Google, right? They make up the bulk of it. Netflix added into that makes up over half of the communication services space. We know that tech has been really, really overbought here in the short term. And maybe a little rotation today. You saw semis pulling back a little bit. You saw tech pulling back a little bit. But tech makes up almost 25% of the S&P 500. So we always say where tech and financials go, so goes the market. In this case, tech has helped pull this market up, which is fine if you like the stock market higher. Makes you a little concerned if you want the markets to continue higher, right? Because if any weakness shows up in that tech space, all of a sudden you're going to have a little bit of a slow pullback there in the overall stock market. We'll see. The weakest sector at the moment, year to date, the weakest sector is the material sector, followed by retail, at least as of earlier today. That was what I had to pull up earlier today. The financials, a little bit lower here on the day. So you got financials. You just use the charts in the dojo if you're one of our customers today. Financials pulled back just a little bit. The yield curve was flattening throughout the day and throughout the week, really. The yield curve is pretty flat this week, so that's not a good sign for financials. They did pull back throughout the day, so a little bit weak there. You had retail back down to the 50-day moving average, a little bit of weakness there. In the retail space, a couple names we've been talking about here. Urban Outfitters was lower again by about 5%. Store sales over the holidays were a little bit weaker. That's not good for them. They did a lot of advertising. The advertising eats into your profit margins, of course. If you spend money on advertising, advertising didn't generate the sales that they were expecting. Stock was lower by, let's call it 5% on the day. Grubhub yesterday, or 2 days ago, the report came out from the Wall Street Journal that said they were considering a sale. Today, Grubhub said, no, that's false. We are not considering that at all. Your sources were wrong. The stock was down 6%, almost erasing all of the Wall Street Journal report pop, if you want to label it. Limited Brands was higher today, 2.3%. There was an analyst out of Deutsche Bank that says that Victoria's Secret is doing so bad that they're just going to have to split away from them. So if that happens, that's obviously good for shareholders. So the stock was a little bit higher on the day, about 2.3%. Industrials pulled back today after breaking out earlier in the week. Still a pretty tight uptrend there, not too much to talk about. REITs around the 200-day moving average added another 1% today, continuing to fight with the 200-day moving average. We'll see what happens there. Gold puts up a 3-week win streak. That's going to be over 0.5% today, but that makes it 3 weeks higher, just sitting off of all of the record highs there, at least for the year. And so gold continuing to stay strong. And Mexico, EWW is the ETF, if you want to take a look at that. It did pull back today, but ultimately was able to break above those highs. We've been kind of pointing that out over the last couple days. I'll cover a few stocks here, and then we'll take your questions if you have any. You got KB Homes, lower by 3.25% on the day. They beat on earnings, missed on revenue. Guidance was weak overall. And, Lennar, by the way, in the home building space, Lennar was up 3.5%. They raised their dividend from 16 cents to 50 cents. So they've got this new initiative to keep shareholders and attract new shareholders, a 50-cent dividend on Lennar Homes if you're interested in that. Also, LifeLock. LifeLock reported a one-time special dividend of $12. So if you own that share, you are the proud recipient, depending on how many shares you own, of $12 a share. So looking pretty good there. Some of the stocks we own, I'll cover a few of those today. Ryanair Holdings, great day for that one, up 7%. This is our sort of most improved year over year. Had a bad year last year, and Ryanair did very well today. It erased all of last year's losses and added about 7% on the day. So looking good there. They said they had a strong Christmas season. They raised their guidance going forward, so that's kind of the news there. Tyson was higher today by 3%. Really, the only news was that Kramer on CNBC said that this stock will benefit the most from the trade deal with China there. So he had a lot of good things to say there. Got the Kramer bump today. Broadcom pulled back a little bit. Unfortunately, we own this one, lost 2%, headed back down to the 200-day moving average, it seems like, for Broadcom there. And then Constellation Brands gave back all of yesterday's gains, lost about 2.5% on that one. You've got 71.8% of the S&P above the 50-day moving average. That's a small drop from yesterday, but you understand why the market's pulled back a little bit today. You now have 65 names within 2% of getting over the 50-day moving average. That number's increasing. It was 55 yesterday. You can understand, right? Stock markets were lower on the day. You had 57 new 52-week highs, half closed in the red, half closed in the positive. So it was kind of a mixed day there. A lot of good stuff going on the 52-week high list, and I point it out every day just to share it with you. Best Buy hit new highs today. Eli Lilly, but they were in the news. They're buying another company, and they think that the drug that they're buying from that company will generate about $1 billion conservatively. So that's a 1.5% gain for Eli Lilly today. And Huntington pulled back today finally. That was that defense stock we've been talking about that got its start, or the breakout start from the Iran attacks there, and it just kept going. It didn't pull back at all like the others. Today it finally started to pull back, a little bit of profit taking there. A couple other things. You got Casper, the mattress company. You guys, anybody have a Casper? They announced today they're going to go public. CSPR will be the ticker symbol. They also said they have 1.4 million customers, but they have net losses of $92 million, and they expect those losses to continue. That's tough, right? You know that the recent IPOs that have gone public and really don't have any profits to speak of have had a hard time. You could name a bunch, the Smile Direct Club and Beyond Meats, etc. And so we'll see. That one they filed for IPO today. Speaking of losses, Beyond Meats actually had a good week this week, up over 25%. Beyond Meat's coming out of that sort of sideways range there. They did well at CES. They got a lot of press, got a lot of reviews there, a lot of new products in terms of the different types of fake meats they're going to offer. So that stock was higher today and has been higher since the start of CES. Next week, we got really no earnings to start off the week. You got 2 more Fed members speaking on Monday just to make sure everybody's cool, right? When things get a little shaky, those Fed members go out and they give speeches, they go on TV and all that stuff. So that's happening next week as well. And that's pretty much it. I mean, not too bad. I'll share the chart with you guys on Monday with the sectors, and maybe I'll try to update the data there so that it comes through. Sorry about the screens today. Not sure what happened there. You guys like your pot stocks, huh? You still playing around with Aurora Cannabis? Nothing good today, down 11%. Still. Yeah. Need to get some kind of good news for them. Still overpriced. Bed Bath & Beyond. So you like that stock there? It recovered a little bit from yesterday. Almost made it back down to the 200-day moving average. Decent recovery today. Still negative on the week, of course, with the earnings out there. But a little bit of bottom pickers in there, huh? Yeah. Six Flags. Oh, you like Six Flags? Yeah. So Six Flags today, unfortunately, that was a pretty significant drop for them. New lows, down 18%. Their main issue was that those holiday or season passes that they sell. Like if you live in Florida, you can buy like a pass to Disney World. I think anybody can buy them really, but they give like Florida residents deals to like Universal and stuff. You can come for like 6 months in a row or something. They just try to get you to go. Anyways, Six Flags had lower sales for those season passes than they expected. Yep. So, well, in addition to everything else, but that's what I got out of it. Yep. Beyond Meats, you're looking for a full McDonald's deal. I mean, you can't help but cheer for them. They lose money at the moment, and that's not changing. So it makes it tough to invest in there, but that's what it is. Tesla started to pull back yesterday, continued a little bit of that today. Can't blame you for being a little bit bearish on the stock there. Same with AMD, especially with what happened in the semiconductors today. It sort of looked like the start of a little rotation, right? So we'll see if that continues next week. I'll highlight it if it does. We'll go through kind of where the money's going and everything. But if that's the case, very, very early to tell. If that's the case, yeah, you'd expect to see that at least pull back a little bit. I wouldn't expect like an all-out collapse or anything, but a little profit-taking type pullback, that'd be cool. Yep. Able to offer which sectors are best positioned for growth in 2020. We did this for customers. We went through kind of all the different sectors in our year-end review. It really depends on where you stand. I'll keep the same comments there that if you're someone who likes to buy momentum, meaning something that's already trending higher, it shows no sign of stopping, at least for the moment, you're looking at tech, communication services, things like that, maybe industrials. If you like weakness and you like trying to pick off weakness, energy. Right? And financials from a fundamental perspective are still pretty cheap. Financials, where did we put it here? Did I have the deal set up there? You've got financials currently trading average, right at average from a PE perspective. Right about average there. Yeah. Tech is still officially the most expensive in the bull market. Tech is currently trading at the highest that it's ever traded price-wise or fundamentally in the last 10 years. So if you look at this bull market, tech is in the, you would say, in the 100th percentile for where it's trading valuation-wise there. Communication services in the 98th percentile, by the way, and the S&P also in the 98th percentile as well if you're looking at valuation. So that's that part. You'd rather hold Philip Morris over the pot stocks there, the infrastructure. It kind of reminds you of the, what's that guy from Shark Tank, right in the middle, the Kevin, where he says, if this is so good, why wouldn't the big guys come squash you like the cockroach you are and all that? You kind of feel that way? Like if Philip Morris, if they really wanted to do this, you know, they have unlimited resources, you figure, and distribution. But we'll see. Bold play. Waiting for the incoming Bernie presidency to boost pot stocks and the rest of the economy. Yeah, is there any prostitution stocks out there? He's all about legalizing that too. So if you think Bernie Sanders is going to be the winner, I don't get into politics, but I like to see how politics affects money, so I'm all about that. Any opinion on iRobot? They got some challenges there, more competition, right? Patents coming off patent and everything. So the stock, you know, still flirting around lows. I would keep the same argument with any stock that's been in a long-term downtrend. I would let it bounce first. There's no need to pick the bottom on something like this. Show the momentum change, see the momentum change, see the earnings change, and maybe then pick on it. Like if you think about it, if the stock has fallen from here to here, do you need to catch it right there? Like if you're trying to make 10, 20% or something, does it matter if this is your downtrend, does it matter if you get the 10% up here after already seeing it bounce or the 20% up here or something? It's a little harder, I get, because the price is moving higher, but not one I think you have to just guess the bottom on. No rush. Yep. You're looking for Disney to break out, are you? So Disney back to the 50-day moving average, very patiently sitting there, by the way. What you'd like to see if you're sort of watching this on a day-by-day basis, looking for an entry, you want to see a point where the markets are moving lower and Disney's stuck. It just won't move, right? Then you know you've got a relatively strong stock and people don't want to sell that stock. Yeah. Is Rick's Cabaret still out there? Come on, man. No, I don't think so. I think they went away a while ago. Is there a graph showing the average PE ratios over the last 100 years? Yeah, I bet so. You could probably pull it up in your Thinker, if you have a Thinkorswim or TD Ameritrade account. There's a ticker symbol in there somewhere. S&P, PE. I could find it for you. If you just sort your list, pull up a watch list and sort by indicators, you'll find it in there. If you happen to have that, I don't know. Otherwise, yeah, maybe Google it, but absolutely. So you're hedging on CRM given the last run-up. You notice that the market pulled back a little yesterday. CRM continued. Yeah, it held its own today, right? So positive on the day by 1/3%. Still very extended, but for the moment, they're not coming for stocks like this one. It was kind of a broad-based move. That's why I said sector rotation today, because it wasn't like the tech space or semiconductors were lower because of just one name, right? It was sort of a broad-based profit-taking there. The way to see that, if you like, is take the holdings of like the SMH, or if you want to pull up the stocks or something, and then pull up a watch list so you can see the performance. And if you just see like one name down 5 or 6%, you could probably find some news there that always affects a couple other names. But if you just see red across the screen and it's all consistent, like a 0.5% or something, that's usually where you can say, well, all right, that's kind of a broad-based sell-off today, maybe a little more rotation from a broad perspective. Like, for example, the top 25 holdings of the SMH, there were only 7 stocks that were in the green today, and only 3 of them finished up 1%. Other than that, it was a very consistent red move across the board there. Yep. Any news on GE? Haven't followed the latest on that one. Obviously, the stock price feels like this is starting to get behind them a little bit, their struggles, but I haven't seen anything new or exciting there. Uber, what's the question? Okay. Any opinion on UVV, Universal Corp there? It's more helpful if you have like a particular question. Do you own it? Are you looking to buy it? Because if you're looking to buy it, you never buy a stock after only one day down. Today was the first day down 2.25%. You never buy a stock after one day down. Let it settle down a little bit. But if I knew where you were at, it'd be easier to kind of point you, or at least try to help in the right direction. Uh-oh. There's a good old YouTube censoring some of the comments there. I won't say what it says. I don't know if they can censor me saying stuff. You're probably right. The comment is, as we get closer to the election, you expect volatility to creep up. I did a class in our year review for our customers. I actually showed the historical volatility around elections, and then, of course, where we're at now, very low volatility, but showed how that spikes going into the official election season. I think you're 100% right. I would expect it to be that way. Yep. I love it. Do we trade stocks every day? No, we're long-term investors here. I just like to point out the things that are moving throughout the day. A lot of times I'll point out stocks that we do own just to kind of see the good and the bad out of the mix there, keep everybody updated. But no, we don't trade every day. Not active traders here. What's your opinion on doing just puts and calls only in the market? Like as a trading strategy, just using options? You can. You just can't be a buyer of puts and calls. That's a losing bet. That is a guaranteed losing bet, and you can't use the word guaranteed all that often. Yep. All right, last question here. With how much growth Bob has seen by having in the stock, how much revenue growth they've had each year, would you expect it to be as high as Amazon? They're competing with Amazon now. Now they're going aggressive against Amazon, trying to attract more people to their site. I think a lot of Americans don't know that you can list products on Alibaba and treat it like Amazon. I think if that starts to bleed into us here, you'll start to find that Amazon's got a little competition. Way too early to say something like that, but yesterday, or 2 days ago, I think they said they were lowering the fees to list for sellers on their platform, which makes it more competitive than Amazon from a seller's perspective. It has to be the right fit, I get it, but man, if they do compete, I mean, that could be a little bit of a battle there. Yep, Spirit Aerosystems laying off 2,800 employees because Boeing production, 737 production. There's no production going on. So Spirit Aerosystems generates over 50% of their revenue just from that one plane model alone. Not from Boeing, just from the one model alone. So that's called not being diverse enough to sustain any unforeseen events. There's your business talk for the day, huh? There you go. Anyways, all right, I'll wrap it up there. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you back again on Monday. Congratulations again to Starling for playing our game and winning Guess the Dow, and enjoy your weekend. See you.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new Fin Tips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.